Ghost of Tsushima is an absolute breath of fresh air. Period. End of review.
Why are you still here?
Okay, but on a serious note, recently I've been watching a lot of Naruto because, unlike a lot of other people, I never watched it as a kid. I was more interested in Western shows and cartoons, so I only got into anime when I was like 13. To be honest, I love the show. It has a great plot, great characters, and amazing fights. And I've also learned a lot of Japanese from it.
Sugoi. 何ですか何バカ。まさか。大丈夫
Just because you watch anime doesn't mean you speak Japanese. You fucking
Also, I'm halfway through it, so please don't spoil. For the love of God, don't spoil. I pray to God, don't spoil. I beg you, don't spoil, don't spoil. Please don't spoil.
Well,
Anyway, you're probably wondering why I'm talking about Naruto all of a sudden. Well, being me, I'm super interested in history of all kinds, so I'm instantly drawn to the setting of this fantasy feudal Japan setting mixed with modern aesthetic. And being a gamer, I always look for games for the licensed properties I like. But I'm super scared of spoilers. So where could I fulfill my feudal Japan fantasy without spoiling the show for myself? Well, I couldn't find my copy of Mini Ninjas, so I naturally hopped onto none other than Ghost of Tsushima. This game is a flawed masterpiece. It's a game with stunning visuals, an incredible soundtrack, and beautiful gameplay. Sucker Punch take everything we know and tolerate about open world design and flip it on its head, all spearheaded by a fantastically crafted story, which I haven't finished yet. Shut up, don't spoil, shut up, don't spoil, shut up, don't spoil. In terms of combat, Ghost of Tsushima is intricate yet intuitive. As you can imagine, it's Dark Souls esque, as many swordplay games are nowadays, with dodging and blocking and parrying the works. I'm playing the game on hard, which is the second highest difficulty, and it overwhelmed me at the start, big time. But as I've continued playing, I've genuinely improved and I don't die every 3 minutes anymore. So if you're going to get this game or already have it, you should play it on hard. It's challenging, but once you get into the swing of things, you feel like a real samurai. Speaking of being a samurai, you wield a katana that feels absolutely brilliant. You can customize it with an array of skins for a more personal touch. You also have different stances depending on the enemy type being faced to maximize effectiveness. You don't have to swap stances, but it's so satisfying when you take out a group of enemies using the correct stance for each one. Although I adore the straight up combat, this game really shines with the ghost weapons. For me, it's almost Arkham series-esque in terms of the breadth of weapons you can use. You can use kunai, smoke bombs, different bows, sticky bombs, poison darts, and more. Sneaking into an enemy camp and taking out all the enemies quietly while seamlessly swapping between different weapons really makes you feel like a badass. It isn't Badass Simulator, but it's a very close second. The side missions and the general breadth of content available is immaculate. You can really experience what an average person would go through during the Mongol invasion by interacting with the NPCs that help you locate collectibles and Mongol camps. I won't talk about the story, but all you need to know is that so far, it has me on my toes. I'm very excited to see where it ends. People online have described it as being basic and kind of plain, but I love it. It's such a well-rounded tale with characters that I've truly grown to care for. and this is further emphasized by the dialogue choices the game asks you to make during story missions. They don't affect the story outcome, but make me feel like I'm really building relationships in Tsushima. You also have an assortment of different outfits to customize your character with that specialize in different things: stealth, defense, traversal, and many more. And I don't even want to hear it. All the outfits here are cool, but my favorite is a spoiler, so I won't mention it. You can further customize your outfits by upgrading them or using flowers to unlock different dyes that change the color of the outfit. You can swap between Japanese and English voice acting, which are both superb, but the lip movements on the character models are only for the English, so the Japanese is a dub, which is a bit of a bummer and takes away points from the game. But you can expect it because Sucker Punch is an American company, so they would have recorded everything in English first and recorded the Japanese after. How can I talk about the Japanese without talking about the Kurosawa mode? Turn this on and your game becomes black and white with film grain and squeaky audio, just like the old samurai films, which is quite charming. But I actually hate playing the game like this. You really miss out on the wonderfully colorful world, and I feel like it takes away from the work some of the artists did to bring this game to life. But maybe that's just me. It also becomes difficult to dodge unblockable attacks which glow red and you can't really see in the black and white aesthetic. The photo mode is honestly the best photo mode I've ever used in terms of camera controls and how customizable you can really make your shot. You can customize everything from the color of the flowers falling to the wind speed. You can tell that Sucker Punch wanted to give the creative salamanders on the internet something to drool over and become obsessed with. I use it quite often, but I haven't captured anything that will make the nerds climax yet.
I just couldn't resist.
In terms of visuals, this game has officially taken the cake for the best sunsets in video games. That's right, it beats The Witcher 3, Breath of the Wild, and your mom's favorite game, Fight Me. It also completely reforms what we know about open world design. You don't have a mini-map, which declutters the HUD and helps with the immersion. Instead, the wind guides you on where you want to go by blowing in that direction. All you need to do is select the waypoints on your map and have the wind guide you there. But you don't even have to do that. You can follow birds and foxes to points of interest, or look out for smoke in the distance and follow it to come across Mongol territories. Personally, the overhaul in open world design is phenomenal, and I don't think we've seen the likes of this kind of innovation since its inception in the early 2000s. Unfortunately, I didn't play any of Sucker Punch's games before this, and I really regret this now. I wasn't very knowledgeable about the Sly Cooper games or the Infamous series in their prime, and now I regret it, so I'm definitely going to seek them out if I get the chance. There are some bugs in it, but it isn't game breaking, and I don't even have the first patch yet, so I'm not complaining about a lot yet. To me, Ghost of Tsushima is a 10 out of 10. It's not my favorite game of all time, but it's up there. You can tell that the developers really put a lot of care, love, blood, sweat, and tears into it. The attention to detail is second to none, and it sure filled my feudal Japan fantasy.